This is the newsroom.
This is your newsroom for today, Thursday, February 20th, 2025. We are broadcasting to you on E1, SKAR TV, NTN, and Tarzee TV in Bartica. In the headlines, Finance Minister Dr. Ashni Singh tells investors at the energy conference that the government is serious, responsible, and eager to support new business ventures.
Many of you have invested in Guyana. Some of you are looking to invest in Guyana, and you're not investing for 1 year or 2 years or 5 years.
Mottley calls for urgent unity and bold action as CARICOM Heads of Government Summit opens in Barbados. Teen to face High Court trial for Mahdia dorm fire. And in sport, track and field coach urges young Guyanese sprinters to aim higher, and new CWI CEO hopes for balance amidst threat of growing franchise leagues. With the news, I am Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for joining us. We start off by telling you that the Guyana's Finance Minister, Dr. Ashni Singh, told investors gathered on Thursday at the 2025 Guyana Energy Conference and Supply Chain Expo that the government is serious, responsible, and eager to support new business ventures in the small South American nation. To evidence his point, the Finance Minister outlined the government's investments and wealth management. A key part of his argument was that the People's Progressive Party Civic has, from 1992 to 2014, and then since 2020, been able to manage the country's debt well.
The country was reduced from 617% to 38.7% before a single barrel of oil was found. Much less produced, much less revenues earned from it. Now, I'm making this point because I want to say to you that you have in Guyana and you have in this government led by President Irfan Ali, a government, a country and a government that has a long track record of responsible economic management. Many of you have invested in Guyana, and some of you are looking to invest in Guyana, and you're not investing for 1 year or 2 years or 5 years. You're looking down the road. You're looking at that 1.3 million barrels of oil per day and possibly more. You're investing for the long term. And so you want to know that the people who are doing this are serious, responsible, credible people who have a demonstrated track record, not over the last 2 years or over the last 3 years, or since oil started to be produced or since oil was discovered, who have a long track record of doing this, even in times of considerably greater economic difficulty. And this chart tells that story, that long before oil was discovered, Guyana's debt to GDP ratio was already brought down, like I said, to 38.7%. Today, Guyana's debt to GDP ratio stands at 24.3%, the second lowest in the entire Western Hemisphere.
Now, in a powerful and impassioned address on Wednesday evening, Mayor Mottley, the Prime Minister of Barbados and current chair of CARICOM, addressed the distinguished gathering at the 48th CARICOM Heads of Government meeting in Bridgetown. Mottley's speech echoed a deep call for regional solidarity and immediate action as the Caribbean faces unprecedented global challenges. Delivering the keynote address, Mottley acknowledged the dire issues confronting the world with a particular emphasis on the devastating impact of the climate crisis.
If ever there was a time for us to make bare our hearts and our minds to each other as heads of government, it is at this point. And I trust and pray that if we are able to do so, then we truly can hold hands and walk in lockstep. This is not a moment today for me for a lot of long talk or a lot of long speeches. What is required of me as chairman is to ask each and every one of us to make that commitment, to expose our hearts and our minds and find common ground and common purpose so as to ensure that as the world in ways that none of us expected 20, 30 years ago, or even 10 years ago, that we can hold a center, recognizing that we will always, always, always be stronger together. We have a responsibility to reform this institution. We have spoken for too long as to the need for independent funding mechanisms, whether it is assessed at the imports, whether it is an issue of a small fee for all border passings, people coming in and out of our borders, or whether it is the assignment of renewable energy licenses to CARICOM and our regional institutions. The time is upon us for settling the independent funding of this Caribbean community.
We tell you now that a teenager who was charged in relation to the fire at a Mahdia secondary school dormitory back in 2023 was recently committed to stand trial in the High Court. Let's find out more in this report.
On May 21st, 2023, a fire ripped through the Mahdia secondary school female dormitory. 20 children, 19 girls and 1 boy who were inside the building at the time perished. The incident is one which has sparked outcry in the nation in recent times. Subsequently, a teenage girl who was 15 at the time was charged with 20 counts of murder. She was remanded, and on February 14, close to 2 years later, following a preliminary inquiry, the teenager was found guilty. In his ruling, the presiding magistrate, Sunil Skiers, found that there was sufficient evidence for the teenager to stand trial in the High Court. The case was heard at the Mahdia Magistrates Court. The fire started shortly after 23 hours on Sunday, May 21st, 2023, and continued close to 3 hours before it was controlled. Several others were injured. A Presidential Commission of Inquiry, COI, chaired by Major General retired Joe Singh, was later set up to investigate the incident. After months of hearings, the report was presented, and it called into question the lapse of several individuals in the event leading up to the fire, during, and even after. The report of the COI concluded that the fire was an act of arson, but said even a fully equipped facility would have not yielded a different result. For the newsroom, Sharda Bacchus.
In the next 3 years or so, President Irfan Ali has estimated that investments along the country's waterfront corridor will exceed approximately $600 million. This, the president said, shifts the focus on the transformation of the corridor, which will require iconic infrastructure. The president made a disclosure while speaking at a recent event.
In the last week alone, speaking to investors and finalizing investment in this corridor, and I say corridor because this corridor now expands, in my opinion, to the Freedom Hoop waterfront area. So in this corridor, coming from Kitty roundabout, going all the way around to, let's say, Starbrook Market, and then taking the west side of the river, coming all the way around to Freedom Hoop. New investment, easily. I would estimate that new investment in the next 3 years in this corridor alone will exceed $600 million. $600 million in this small corridor alone. What that really brings to the fore is how we must now transform the corridor to meet this new investment profile. And that is why we have to build infrastructure that is iconic. We have to look at how we can develop a boardwalk that is different. We have to look as to how we're going to bring cruise liners to this corridor, how we're going to create supporting services for those cruise liners for the day tours, how we're going to move tourists from a cruise line to Kaichor, to our point. I don't want to name businesses because they might say I'm marketing some businesses. To different resorts in the Essequibo, in the Demerara, all within a window of 14 hours. Because cruise liners in the region operate a stop and go. And what can be an added incentive? What can be an added incentive for those cruise liners to make Guyana a destination? And there is where LNG and refueling hub comes in. So they get an opportunity to be part of the refueling hub, and we get an opportunity to maximize the tourism output.
More news still ahead. Stay tuned. You're watching the newsroom. Welcome back. This is the newsroom. In an exciting development, Guyana Electric, owned and operated by the dynamic duo Michelle and Kian Howard, has announced a strategic partnership with GE Vernova. The partnership, revealed on the sidelines of the 2025 Guyana Energy Conference and Supply Chain Expo, promises to enhance Guyana's electric grid, deliver crucial local training, and foster long-term growth in the country's energy infrastructure. The partnership is set to bring together Guyana Electric's deep understanding of local energy needs with GE Vernova's cutting-edge power transmission expertise. With a 51-49 ownership split, the Howards are at the forefront, driving local content and championing the inclusion of Guyanese talent in the energy sector.
Today, I'm happy for this joint venture. Michelle and I push, we work hard at what we do. I'm very passionate when it comes to training. That's one of the things I mentioned to Douglas. We have to. One of the other things Michelle and I do, which we're passionate about, we love having female electricians. I find most of them work better than the male electricians. They clean up after themselves. They wouldn't be like, hey, I'll come back and clean it. And you're tired at the end of the day. So we try to hire female electricians. They're easy to work with. They listen more, But we also hired people that are not skilled. Sometimes we go for good attitude and not necessarily the skill, and we will work with them. Like at Michelle's Cafe, we would sit in the back. I will give them basic electrical training, and these are people that never, don't even know what a switch connection look like. So those are some of the things that we try to do.
We know we don't know to do these things. Go and find a partner, and not only is this company 5149, but it also is, I hope it's an example to women that don't be afraid to go into spaces where if you don't know and the opportunities arise, you go and find a partner. Local content continues to be something that we want to champion, and I'm really happy, like Keon was saying, that Douglas and ourselves have been dating a while, and we've had many relationships where we've kissed a few frogs, and this wasn't that. This person didn't want to take, he wanted to give, and I thought that was speaking to what local content should be about, is that you give back to the country and you also empower the partners that you're with.
We want to start with training, but along the way, we're also doing parallel discussions with, most importantly, with JPL. JPL, and we are also through Guyana Electric want to try to participate in the tenders that are going on through JPL and through other partners, EPC partnerships. So we are also working with some EPC that have already contracts with JPL. We are providing our solutions to those EPC contractors, and some of them have already established conversations about contracts for deployment of equipment like power transformers, like circuit breakers, like capacitors banks, protection and control and automation devices. So yes, we are in addition to training and providing support to the GPL technical staff, we are also working with EPC contractors on the actual deployment of equipment for the power grid.
We tell you now that a SUD was on Wednesday turn to mark the commencement of construction of a new state-of-the-art $45 million five-star hotel in the compound of the Pegasus Corporate Center.
President Dr. Irfan Ali on Wednesday joined businessman Robert Badal and his family to turn the sod for the commencement of construction of a new US $45 million five-star hotel. The structure will be constructed in the compound of the Pegasus Corporate Center at Kingston, Georgetown. The project is being initiated by Badal, and construction is expected to begin in March 2025. In his remarks at the ceremony, President Ali highlighted the government's commitment to fostering an environment welcoming to business growth.
We are acutely aware that part of our mission now must be to find the right formula through which we can have 3 million people passing through this economy by 2030, so that they can utilize the services that the private sector is investing in, whether it's a restaurant, whether it's a nightclub, whether it's an entertainment facility. You need to have people to make use of the services. The Pegasus Hotel is an establishment that has been a major player in our hospitality sector. As with all industries, change is inevitable. The hospitality sector is evolving dramatically with new entrants, bringing fresh competition. Yet, rather than resting on its laurels, the Pegasus Hotel has embraced the change.
The new hotel will include 150 rooms, a 13th floor executive lounge, a sky view penthouse, among other luxury amenities. Badal praised the government for creating a hub for investments.
Even though many hotel projects are under construction, that does not dissuade us from making these investments. The reality is that they are attractive investments alternatives which makes more economic sense with much better returns. The hotel business requires huge capital investment, and more often than not, the return takes a much longer time to return the investments. Interest on borrowings and energy costs are critical inhibiting factors locally. But of recent, in this fast-paced oil economy, finding the required skill set at all levels have emerged the most inhibiting of all.
The new hotel will add to the growing investment in the country, particularly in the hospitality sector. Reporting for the newsroom, Sharda Bacchus.
Now, Raj Jewelry is shining bright at the Energy Conference once again with its dazzling showcase of Guyanese gold. For the 4th consecutive year, the business has been a proud participant in the event, bringing a slice of Guyana's rich cultural heritage and craftsmanship to an international audience. Kelly Ramlal, a sales representative at Raj Jewelry, spoke with enthusiasm about her experience at the conference this Wednesday. She expressed how the event has provided a platform to connect with patrons, share the story behind the jewelry, and invite visitors to explore their luxurious offerings.
Well, I am happy to be here because this is the 4th year I'm here, and it's good to know people, and it's good to tell people about the gold that you sell, and you know you have a positive mind of what you're selling, and explain to them what you have, and invite them to come to your location too. A lot of support from people, especially people who don't know about gold, and to get a better understanding about Guyana gold especially, and the quality of gold we sell. First of all, the quality of gold we sell is 14 karat, but most people will come and ask a higher karat too. But we also sell higher karat, but we make it on order for them. We can still clean it for you, but it will be at a cost. Depends on what you want to do to it. Also, if I know a lot of people got old jewelry, their bangles, their earrings, they might lost on one side, and they want just melt them up and make something different. We also do that for you too. Even if you come to us with a picture on your phone and you say, look, you want to interchange this design and make something different, we also do that for you too. We offer high quality in gold and diamond jewelry, and the standard is standard 14 karat. Everything we have on our showroom at our Giftland Mall and Movietown Mall location is 14 karat. Some of the items you might find it in 18 karat, like wedding bands, etc. But if you don't, you want something else in 18 karat, we can make it on order for you. Yes, we do sell watches. We have the Movado, we have the Fossil, we have some other different etc. brands. Yeah, and we sell some sunglasses too. Okay, we are located at the Movie Town Mall and Giftland Mall, and soon we'll be opening at the Cheddi Dragon International Airport. If you want to contact us on WhatsApp, you can contact 658-5730 and you can send any message there. If you want to know about something more, we can give you more information here too.
When the newsroom returns, the Japanese company building a floating production, storage and offloading vessel assures of its long-term commitment to Guyana. Stay tuned. Welcome back. This is the newsroom. Nanpusod and Company Limited, a leading Guyanese conglomerate, is driving Guyana's infrastructure transformation through strategic partnerships with brands such as Ford Trucks and Lugong, delivering advanced construction machinery to meet rising demand. Devesh Prasad, a director of the group, outlined its rapid expansion to meet Guyana's infrastructure needs at the ongoing Guyana Energy Conference.
Nanpusod, right now, our focus is a little heavy on our construction division, right? Our construction machine division, and we're looking to grow our construction division very rapidly. There's a crazy demand, a very massive demand for construction machine and trucks and stuff like that in the country. Our growth right now is going to be in that division. We're looking to put in, we're going to have a new showroom set up in Diamond, and this is going to be state-of-the-art, all the full spares, everything, you know, something really, really nice. We have our, well, I think what everybody would know us for would be our rice, Caribbean rice. We also have a few different brands of rice as well, which is Prong and Pure Acreage and those, right? We're also very big in the agriculture, machine, spares, tire, oil, now construction, machine, trucks. In terms of that, that would have you know, given us a lot of opportunity in the construction industry. We actually spun an entire new business and line and everything all together. Our construction line, our construction subsidiary came from that, from the economical growth. We saw a need and we jumped right into it, right? We have our oil and battery together. It all works cohesively together. So there's a lot of construction going on, a massive need for trucks and heavy-duty machine, and that would have been where these products are located. When dealing with construction, machine, trucks and stuff like that, right? One of the number one questions that our customer and, you know, people that we meet, even in the exhibition, right? The one question that they all have, right, is you have machine, but do you have the spare parts to supply for these machines? Because it's a very fast industry. Right now, we have every single part you can think about, from all our machines supplied, all our trucks supplied. We have all the parts from top to bottom. And we have a very trained service team, ready, available. If you have a problem, it doesn't matter where you are in the country, we will find you. Our team would go there, they would get it fixed. Right, there's a big demand for mechanics and stuff like that in the country, and it's not available, right? So we make it so simple that if you own a truck, you don't have to have your own mechanic. You don't even have to, to worry about regular servicing and stuff like that. We take care of all of that for you. For training and technology, all of the companies that we work along with, right? All the companies that we work with, right? They have a very big demand on technology and the use of technology. It's something that is growing in the rest of the world, and we need to always be on par with the rest of the world and their technologies, right? The technologies would be solely and mainly based on the technology would be solely based on the maintenance and the use of all of these machines, tracking, and a lot of other, small things like.
The Kunjaz Steel Orchestra won the large band category of the 2025 Mashramani Panorama Steel Band Competition, edging past last year's winners, the Guyana Police Force Steel Band. In the youth band category, the West Demerara Secondary School Steel Orchestra clinched first place. The Panorama competition was held at the Kingston Beach, Georgetown on Wednesday night, and though there were occasional showers, hundreds of supporters and steel pan music lovers showed up and enjoyed the sweet pan. When the news returns, the financial, weather, and bridge reports along with sport. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Newsroom. Now for a look at what's happening in sport. We're starting us off with some track and field news. Seasoned track and field coach Julian Edmonds hopes that Guyana's talented young sprinters can translate their junior success to higher levels of competition. Edmonds, who coaches the Running Braves Athletics Club, a proven breeding ground for junior stars, has several athletes currently competing in the collegiate system. He's urging them to maintain focus on their long-term goals and fulfill their potential to become world-class athletes.
Guyana for too long, we've always have athletes with potential. We hope people like Malachi and Tiano and Natalia and Narissas and these at Kaliza Smith and these athletes will, go to the next level.
The former national athlete is elated to see numerous opportunities for athletes in the modern era, but continues to give an earful that mistakes at this level could be costly to their future.
I was an athlete. The opportunities that these athletes are getting today, it was not available in my time. So when I started to coach, one of my goal was that, hey, I'm going to produce athletes who are recognized at the Caribbean level, at Carifton, at the world level, whether it's the Youth Olympics, World Juniors, or Youth World Games, and let the world see them and give them the opportunity that was not granted to me or my peers. Um, and so far, I've gotten around 22 athletes in the college system. One wrong move, one bad decision can spoil it all. There are studies that show that only 2% of all student athletes in the colleges make the sport what they went to school for their profession. 2%. That's listen to that. That's 2%.
Most recently, two of his athletes, Malachi Austin and Natalie Hinkson, signed full scholarships at a D1 college in Louisiana State University. Both are incredibly bright prospects to continue their dominance at the regional and international stage. Moreover, he has 8 others on scholarship currently.
Cricket news now. Shubman Gill scored a superb unbeaten century as India began their Champions Trophy campaign with a 6-wicket win over Bangladesh. Set a modest target of 229 to win, Gill batted through and finished on 101 from 129 balls as India cruised to victory with 3.3 overs to spare. India made a brilliant start in Dubai as they reduced Bangladesh to 35 for 5 halfway through the 9th over. But Bangladesh avoided further humiliation thanks to a superb stand of 154 between Tawhid Hidroy and Jakir Ali. Hidroy made an even 100 and Ali 68. In the chase, Gill batted with great poise and a chanceless knock, mixing stylish shots with the requisite resolve to ensure India were never truly concerned. The 25-year-old eased his way to an 8th ODI century from 129 balls, and it was left to KL Rahul to seal the win with a 6 hoisted over deep backward square. Match 3 of the Champions Trophy will take place on Friday with Afghanistan playing South Africa in Karachi from 5 hours. Now, the rise of lucrative franchise leagues is posing a significant threat to the future of West Indies cricket, according to the newly appointed Chief Executive Officer, Chris Derring. While acknowledging the value and interest these leagues generate, Derring warned that a growing trend of Caribbean players prioritizing franchise cricket over national duties could be detrimental to the region's international standing. Some cricket pundits believe that strengthening the domestic game is crucial for West Indies to become a consistent force in world cricket. However, the allure of overseas that should be franchise leagues is arguably diminishing interest in local cricket. The former West Indies star Chris Gayle has previously highlighted the detrimental impact of franchise leagues on West Indies cricket, urging Cricket West Indies to address the issue. Derring, speaking on the Barbados radio program Mason and Guest, emphasized the need for a collective effort to balance the substantial private investment in franchise leagues with the needs of international cricket.
I do know one thing. Those leagues are not going to go away. And it represents a threat, but threats also represent an opportunity. And if you see the model of how football has evolved into, remember the model that exists today in football wasn't around 50, 60 years ago. It has an evolved model where you have private investment coming into the sport, doing all that development work, and basically the English FA, has to simply just pick the players off at the end. I'm not saying that we're there or that we're going to get there, but I'm just saying clearly there are models that exist where it works. So I don't want to discourage private investment. The strength of that is that it creates this vacuum, that attractiveness that should encourage more and more kids to start playing cricket, to get into the cricket pipeline, to then take advantage of cricket as a career opportunity. Now, the threat for West Indies, obviously, is if it becomes so important that simply playing for money commercially, and they no longer need the West Indies for that exposure before they can get those kind of contracts, then we have a major problem. But world cricket has to solve that, or has to help us solve that. Because it is seriously under discussion whether or not ICC should try and own the international calendar, create windows for that only international cricket can be played, etc. Mm-hmm. It took a while to get there, because as you know, the commercial interests, if they're very strong, they can simply ignore the ICC. But I think it's an evolving process. We have to be part of that discussion, knowing our particular vulnerability, because we simply don't have the commercial resources to retain players and pay players the way an India or in England might be able to. But I will tell you, even England with their resources are coming under pressure. So, the discussion is taking place globally, I can tell you. And we have to collectively, cricket has to solve this problem, because private money in cricket is not going to go away.
Boxing news now. The next generation of Guyanese boxing talent will once again step into the ring as the Pepsi-sponsored Michael Paris Under-16 boxing tournament makes its much-anticipated return this Saturday, February 22nd, at the Andrew Sigsad Lewis Gym. Organized by the Guyana Boxing Association, the event serves as a premier platform for young fighters from gyms across the country to showcase their skills, determination, and championship aspirations. Now in its third edition under the association's developmental program, the competition continues to be a beacon of hope for aspiring boxers. President of the Boxing Association, Steve Ninval, highlighted the importance of the tournament in shaping the future of boxing in Guyana.
Well, this tournament has been the backbone of boxing for some time. As a matter of fact, we would have been having sponsorship from DDL for the past 13 years, I think. And we've seen the products that have been derived from it. Kevin Allicox, the Jackman sisters, and several others. And we have Shaquan James now coming out. It is our intention to better last year. Last year we would have had 18 tournaments, 18 competitions, as a matter of fact, held. This year we plan on having 24, so it will be the first time in history that we were able to have an average of 2 under 16 competitions per month. Added to that, we have been backed solidly by the government of Guyana. So we expect that with this sort of relationship that we will see much more youngsters gravitating towards the sport. And even at that, we have welcomed a gym that was recently formed in Temeri. So that underlines that participation in the sport is spreading across Guyana. It is, of course, that would make it maybe 4 gyms in Region 4 or 5. We have 1 gym in Letem which needs to be resuscitated. We have now 2 in Barbados, 1 in Essequibo, and 1 is expected to be on the East Coast shortly.
And Spain's former Football Federation boss, Luis Rubiales, has been found guilty of sexual assault for kissing player Jenny Hermoso without her consent and ordered to pay a fine of €10,800, Spain's High Court has ruled. He was acquitted of coercion for allegedly trying to pressure Hermoso into saying publicly that the kiss was consensual. As Spain's players received their medals after defeating England in Sydney to win the 2023 World Cup, Rubiales grabbed Hermoso by the head and kissed her on the lips. The incident triggered protests and calls for the resignation of Rubiales, who has said he will appeal against the verdict. The ruling also banned Rubiales from going within a 200-meter radius of Hermoso and from communicating with her for 1 year, the court said in a statement. Prosecutors had demanded a prison sentence for Rubiales, who last week told the court that he was absolutely sure that Hermoso had given her consent before he kissed her. The incident was witnessed by millions of television viewers and an entire stadium after the Spanish women's team won the 2023 World Cup. And with that, we've come to the end of the news for this evening. Of course, you can find updates on these and other stories on our website, newsroom.gy, on all social media platforms. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for watching. Be safe. See you next time.